Hey Joe, how you doing, baby?
I'm good, Ken. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, keep it well. You got a little fresh trim there, little fresh trimmeroo.
Yeah, mate, I do. Literally, my girlfriend did it.
Oh, mate, she's not bad. She's done the right job. Turn to the side. Let's have a look
I
at the
know,
sides.
I know.
Turn to the
Yeah,
side.
literally, it was her first ever attempt, and I was terrified, but she did all right in the end. So
Wait, turn to the side.
yeah.
Let me see the side profile a minute.
Wait, I'll just take my headphones off.
Oh, nice, mate. She's actually done a good
To be
job.
fair, she actually did it like 2 weeks ago, so it's not as fresh as it
Oh,
was.
but still, man, it looks all right. It looks good.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one, man. Bro, look, I say it all the time, but another crazy week. Full of volatility, full of news, full of events. It's just endless. Obviously, we were just discussing. We've got a huge list here to go through. I think we might as well start off. Dollar. The dollar's been rising all week. 5 consecutive sessions.
Oh, is it 5 now? Wow.
Yeah. So, big moves there, firmly back above that 100 mark. There was a little bit of volatility early in the week, wasn't there? Flirting between that 100. Look, what's the story? What do you believe in terms of the dollar strength?
Well, I mean, to be honest, in the last couple of days, I think it's been, as much as anything, a function of people being cautious about the euro. Because with the Dixie, like everyone's got to remember, it's the trade-weighted dollar. And the Eurozone is the US's biggest trade partner. So when you see weakness in the euro, that generally benefits the dollar and the Dixie. So in the last sort of 2 days, definitely last 2 days, euro weakness, because of all this EU stuff that's been going on, all that disappointment about the EU leaders not being able to unify properly and agree on a big fiscal package, that has been weighing on euro, which, dollar's been benefiting.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll give you that. It's certainly, I think, a large part of that is euro. And yeah, as you correctly said, the euro actually makes, for anyone that doesn't know, over 50% weighting of that Dixie. So, you always tend to see them moving sort of in tandem. When euro's tanking, the Dixie's rising. There's been, on that EU stuff, as you said, there was disappointment. And I think we covered this in a blog earlier in the week. There's just a massive divergence is the word. Divergence between the north and the south, right? At the end of the day, and like to some extent, I reason with Germany and Netherlands to some extent. At the end of the day, they don't want to be forking over all this money. Yes, they're in a better position. Yes, they're a bigger nation, but why should they be forking over all this money and put themselves out a little bit more? But then, who will save Italy and Spain? Who? So something has to be done. ECB, exactly. I don't know. Can ECB help?
Well, I mean, the ECB are helping, and they have been helping. To be honest, they've been helping ever since, because there was a similar... Well, there was the debt crisis, like you would have been covering this, because you've been in...
Yeah, in my analyst days,
that was back in...
Right in there. Yeah.
Back in 2010, 2011, 2012. And it was the ECB that saved us in that crisis, because they said, we'll do whatever it takes, we'll buy as many bonds as we need.
Literally.
And they're still saying that now, which means that we don't have a crisis yet, but... It is looking, if you look at like the difference between the interest rate on German debt and the interest rate on Italian debt, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Huge.
And that is not good. And every time, as that difference gets wider, that sort of increases the risk of another debt crisis.
Indeed.
So,
I agree with you. And I mean, if we look at the euro, it's obviously starting to take its toll now on the euro. We were holding that 108 area for a while. We actually hadn't properly, convincingly been below that since, for the last 4 weeks, actually. This is 4 weeks. Now we've given way to that. And I'm just looking at the chart here as I've been updating the members. 106, sort of 50 in sight now for euro dollar. And mate, if we go and breach that, we can easily be at 105, very well. Very well.
So absolutely.
Particularly, obviously, with the dollar's just a win-win at the moment anyway on everything. So, it's a lot of potential downside. What else have we had this week? Man, literally, I've got a list. Man, where should we go next? Let's go with oil market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, early in the week, absolutely crazy times. Right, oil negative prices. Go on, Joel. Give the explanation why we're seeing those negative prices. It's very interesting.
Yeah, all right. So just quick explanation then. So we saw negative oil prices just in the May futures contract for WTI. So that is basically people people that want a supply of oil, they buy these futures contracts to guarantee delivery of oil in the future, so they can buy oil for delivery in May, June, July, la-da-da-da-da. But speculators obviously like to buy these futures contracts as well, because they like to bet on price movements. And what it looks like happened earlier in the week is all these speculators were long May WTI crude, and then it was getting to that cut-off point where if they didn't get rid of their long positions, they would have to take physical delivery of the actual crude. Literally. I think it's 1,000 barrels per futures contract. And all these speculators were going, oh my God, I'm a speculator. I don't actually take delivery of crude. Literally. I don't know what to do. But the thing is, there was no demand, so they didn't have anybody to sell it to. So they literally had to pay other people
to take it from their hands. The futures contract. Couldn't store it anywhere. All these barrels of oil, like imagine you've got 1,000 barrels of oil. How many ever come into your house from Oklahoma?
Yeah,
I do generally wonder though, would there be some people out there that are speculating oil on those futures contracts that did not know that they have to take delivery of that? What do you reckon?
I don't know. Probably some.
Yeah,
probably some.
Some Americans,
literally,
say Americans, could be in anyone. Some people just sitting there like, oh shit, when they realise. I shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah.
Look, all right, look, jokes aside now, it's serious though, because obviously it affects a lot of oil companies. A lot of people will be losing their jobs. We've got to realise as well, dude. And that's why I think, obviously at the end of the day, we saw that risk-off flow, didn't we? You know, the next day, a big bout of pressure in the dollar and yen on that. Gold continued to, gold now rising. Obviously it had come off initially, but yeah, some safe haven on that, which is quite concerning.
It is. Yeah, it's not good. Like you're saying, it's like there's all these companies in the US and across the world, all these oil producing companies, and when they see prices going negative like that, it is not good for their business at all.
And for banks, you've got to think for banks as well.
Yes, exactly, because they've got a lot of exposure to the debt of these companies.
Massively. Yeah, so look, it's good to see we've rebounded, but I did put a blog post and I said I don't know whether or not, I think we could still get another wave of selling, because there's no solution yet, is there, buddy? There's no solution right now in sight.
Agreed. Yeah. So, literally, like oil's been rallying the last couple of days off of like the Trump threats against Iran, and a bit of risk on in like equities. And what else are we rallying? There's a bit of evidence of decreasing supply from like the Saudi Arabians and stuff. And we've rallied quite a lot, but like you say, the storage issue still not fixed.
No, not at all. Not by any means. Look, let's jump on. What else have we had? We've had awful PMI data, which also has helped Euro push to the downside. That all-time low there, bad. Let's jump over actually something quite interesting. Let's talk about the BOJ quickly, because I was funny and it's not actually funny, but I was actually in a GBP JPY short because we had this channel structure which I pointed out to the members, broke out retest in the main wave further downside, and next minute I just see like I'm taken out within a second. I was like, what the on earth happened there yesterday? Obviously yesterday being Thursday. Mate, what happened?
Yeah. Mate, so basically there was this Nikkei report that came out. Nikkei is one of the major news wires in Japan, and they basically leaked the upcoming BOJ meeting, which by the way is next Tuesday, and the BOJ apparently they're going to announce unlimited QE,
like the Fed, right?
Like the Fed, exactly. For bond buying.
Yeah.
And they're also going to increase their buying of like corporate bonds as well. Obviously, massively dovish. So we saw massive JPY weakness, which is why I think unfortunately you got wiped out of that one.
Yeah,
happens in the market though, doesn't it? Sometimes these things happen. So
literally, that's what I mean. You just have to take it on the chin and carry on. One of those.
Yeah.
Another thing, let's finish off a couple more points. One thing, obviously, you picked up yesterday quite quickly was the flop. Obviously, that was our video last week, right? The title of our podcast was Miracle Drug or Not. Supposedly now, not, right? With Gilead Sciences. So, from what you said, they've, it wasn't conclusive, right? It wasn't conclusive. And we said that last week, that there was the risk of that being the case. So what happened there?
Oh, I mean, it was literally... this news came out in quite a weird way. So, the FT got hold of a document that the the World Health Organization, accidentally leaked about this drug. And apparently they were talking about how all these studies in China, or there'd been a couple of studies in China on because it's remdesivir.
Yeah, remdesivir. Yeah.
But apparently it's been flopping, or it had flopped clinical trials in China. So everybody kind of had to pare back on that optimism that we saw last week about it being like miracle drug, like you're saying. Because I mean, if it's flopping clinical trials, that's not good.
No, it's not. I'm just pulling up the stocks here. All right, we've stabilised today. We're broadly flat at the moment in terms of Friday, but all right. And then lastly, another thing that's weighed on the euro. We haven't spoken about this yet, have we? The EU summit. Did we speak about that? We did. We spoke about it.
We touched upon it.
Dude. We've spoken about it. Yeah. So anyway, what's next with that? We're just waiting for an update.
Yeah, well, basically, so they did pass the first stage of stimulus, that 540 billion euros, which is all right, but the markets want more, and it's the next stage of stimulus that there's no agreement on. We have no idea what it's going to look like, when it's going to come. Yeah. So we're just waiting for more EU meetings and arguments, I guess.
Yeah, so, I mean, Euro's probably just going to be vulnerable for the time being, realistically, unless any miracle comes out of that, which I'm pessimistic. That's what we missed out. Brexit, which seemingly still supposedly at a stalemate, but we're waiting for an update today, as in Friday. So we'll obviously report that as and when. But the Boris Johnson still remains stubborn and sticking to the date. Sticking to the end of the deadline. Here's something for you, Joel. I didn't know if you knew this or not, but I put it in my most recent blog. And basically, what Johnson might look to do is he will lag this out as long as he can. June, this is the UK, they have a deadline, and they have a deadline to ask for a one-off extension for the transition. So maybe Johnson's playing that card, perhaps. I didn't know that they have that in play. So
what, the June? Yeah. There's that deadline to get it sorted out by June, pretty much. So it's probably going to go down the wire because we're nearly in May already, aren't we? So
we are.
The closer we get to the end of June without an extension, the more vulnerable GBP is going to be. So
very much so. Yeah, very very much so. So well, that was a crazy week. What are we looking out for next week? We've got loads of stuff, haven't we? A lot.
Yeah, it is. So we got let me just have a look. BOJ on Tuesday. Okay. The whole meeting's been leaked already though, so it's all right. US Q1 GDP, that is going to be really interesting.
Ooh, big one.
Q1 GDP, and then that same day, FOMC. Ooh, I know. It's
a lot of juicy stuff.
And then Thursday, ECB.
Big.
And also some PMIs from China as well on Thursday. And then Friday, US ISM manufacturing PMI, which obviously big one as well. That'll be for
Huge.
April.
Man, that is a crazy week, dude. Get a lot of sleep over the weekend. It's gonna be
I love these kind of weeks. Absolutely love them.
It's good. It's a lot of talking points, isn't it? Great for us.
Yeah.
So, dude, well, look, let's sign off another good week. It was lit. Let's get it.
It was lit.